everybody. Welcome to 11th Hour Times. Tonight I wanted to get back to you on the Bible text support for the last video where I was talking about the mark of the beast being Sunday sacredness. And I'll give you some other information too. First I want to read some foundational texts in the Bible. The first is from Deuteronomy 5. I found this last night when I was reading just by chance, and I was doing my own Bible study. Deuteronomy 5, and it says, "And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them, and keep and do them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us in Horeb. The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day." And then that's referenced in the New Testament in Hebrews 8:9. And I'm going to start in verse 8 actually. It says, "For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people." So when people proclaim that the Lord gave us some new covenant, or Jesus died on the cross so we don't have to worry about the 10 commandments that were given to the Israelites, this is tying that conversation and discussion together between the Old Testament and the New Testament. You see, he didn't do away with the original covenant in the commandments. His intention is to write them in our minds and in our hearts, so that we carry them always within us and live them and do them. That's what the verse says. So I wanted to start with that. I tried this last night, but I made several mistakes in my reading, so I wanted to redo it. So what I'm going to give you now are some Bible texts that discuss the Sabbath and how it was not changed. And I'm going to give you where they're located in the Bible, so you can pull your Bible out and read it yourself to see them with your own eyes. And I recommend the King James Version, as I said, because it doesn't have missing verses. So the first one I want to share, the Creator blessed the seventh day. Now, we made mention to this before in an earlier video, and that's found in Genesis 2:3. He sanctified the seventh day. That's in Exodus 20:11, which is part of the 10 Commandments. It's right in the middle there. He made it the Sabbath day in the Garden of Eden, in creation, all the way in the beginning. It's not a Jewish institution, for it was made 2,300 years before there was a Jew. It was made for all mankind. It was a part of God's law before Sinai. This is found in Exodus 16, verse 4, and also in verses 27 through 29 of that same chapter. Then God placed it in the heart of his moral law, Exodus 21 through 17. We talked about that before, but I'm giving you the verses now to go and study on your own. He wrote the commandment with his own finger, Exodus 31:18. He engraved it in the enduring stone, indicating its imperishable nature. That's Deuteronomy 4, verses 12 and 13. It is the sign of the true God by which we are to know him from false gods, Ezekiel 20:20. God has promised to bless all who keep the Sabbath, Isaiah 56:2. And this is just a side note, but like I mentioned earlier, in another video, the Sabbath itself is a blessing. He gave us 24 hours. We don't have to do anything but be with him and study his word and talk to him and commune with him. It's a wonderful blessing all by itself. He gave that to us. Otherwise, we would be doing other things, everything that doesn't have to do with God and heaven. if we want to be in heaven, I mean, it's going to be all about God, right? And the Lord and Jesus and wonderful music. It's just going to be wonderful music. I mean, it's more than our minds can wrap around, I'm sure. Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, called it the Sabbath day in AD 45. This is in Acts 13:27. This was far after Jesus had been crucified on the cross and had gone back to heaven. Paul's still referring to the seventh day as Sabbath. Luke, the inspired Christian historian, who was also a doctor, writing as late as AD 62, calls it the Sabbath day, Acts 13:44. In the Great Christian Council in AD 49, the presence of the apostles and thousands of disciples, James calls it the Sabbath day, Acts 15:21. All these activities are happening far after the cross, and they're still talking about worshiping on Sabbath and so on. The Bible doesn't talk about worshiping on Sunday. There's no direction, instruction, anything else to change it to Sunday. I mean, if the seventh day was Sabbath for 4,000 years, and then because Jesus died on the cross and raised back to life on Sunday, and then therefore he changed the holy day to Sunday, I feel like there would be some chapters, maybe even another testament in the Bible about that, because that's a pretty big deal, right? I mean, it's a pretty big deal. So there is none of that. A couple more. The Sabbath, let's see, yes, the Sabbath is mentioned in the New Testament 59 times and always with respect, bearing the same title it had in the Old Testament, which is the Sabbath day. Not a word is said anywhere in the New Testament about the Sabbaths being abolished, done away, changed, or anything of the kind. So these are a few things that you can look up on your own and pray before you read the Bible. Ask for God to guide your heart and your mind. I also wanted to share with you I had made mention of a pretty virulent push in media, commercials, TV shows, writings of all sorts, talking about Sunday and what a great thing it would be if we were back in, the 1800s or something, where everybody kept Sunday, or people all went to church on Sunday and then did family things. That wasn't the Sabbath day in the 1800s or 1700s or ever, but my point is they're all pushing for let's get back to God and get back to going to church on Sunday. And it's foolishness, and it's guiding the masses to come to that realization. The current Pope wrote in his encyclical on global warming, which is a hoax, to control individuals. There's lots of evidence to that. But he wrote in there, way in the back, it's tucked in there nice and neat in the back, might be 270, something like that, paragraph or section 270. But he talks about if we shut everything down on Sunday, you see, then we wouldn't be putting out CO2, because we'd just be existing and loving our family and all that. It sounds really great, right? I mean, who can argue with having a day off, loving our families? I mean, these are all dark speeches, you see, because no one can argue with the pretext of that. But that's not the point. He's trying to steer humanity to the day that the papacy calls sacred, not the day that God calls sacred. That's his point. The Bible talks about the antichrist thinking to change times and laws. I think he thought to change times and laws when they started veering the church towards going to the church body to going to church the building on Sundays. So I just have a couple here. I'm trying to make a booklet of all these. I mean, every week there's another dozen or so articles on this. If you just Google Sunday traditions or getting back to the basics on Sunday, anything like that, you'll see a whole host of documents, writings from people. It's all going that way. Well, I do this, but it's really the wide path, which we also talked about already. So I'll read a couple of these. They're very short. This is an article about the merit of religion, which appeared in the December 20 forum section. It's entitled, "Religion is Good for Families and Kids," right? Who can argue with that? It says, "Our Congress should revisit and our candidates for president should consider advocating the restoration of Sunday as a day of rest, a paid day of rest, a required day of rest. Now we have the distraction of unnecessary shopping. In the not too distant past, non-essential business establishments were required to be closed on Sundays." You see, it's a push, and it's getting hotter every week. It's really it's really remarkable. It says, "We have made a truly negative rat race with limited time availability or potential for good interactions with one another." Again, sounds great, right? It's wrong. Not the idea of good interactions with one another. Why don't people do that every day? Keep God's Sabbath, not man's. "We need to restore one takeaway from our past, Sunday as a day of rest, a day of worship, of prayer that was invaluable to our family values and individual well-being." Right. And I say, if the day doesn't matter then to people, then do it on the day God says, right? So here's another snippet from the Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine from 1957. You can look this up. And it's a Q&A and a couple paragraphs about how the Catholic Church changed the solemnity of the Sabbath from the seventh day to Sunday. So it leads out with a couple Q&As. So the question, which is the Sabbath day? Answer, Saturday is the Sabbath day. Question, why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Now again, this is what they give to people who say, I want to convert to Catholicism. What do I need to learn and do? And this is instructive of what they tell them about which day they're worshiping on, you see. So again, the question was, why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? We observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that the change, Saturday Sabbath to Sunday, was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical authority in religious things. H.F. Thomas, Chancellor of Cardinal Gibbons. Sunday is a mark of our authority. We're talking about the mark of the beast. Sunday is our mark, their mark, not mine, is our mark of authority. The church is above the Bible. I mean, regardless of the Sabbath question, that should alarm anybody that claims to be or wants to be a Christian follower of Jesus Christ, not of the Catholic Church. The church is not above the Bible. It's not. Sunday is our mark of authority. The church is above the Bible, and this transference of Sabbath observance is proof of that fact. Catholic Record of London, Ontario, September 1st, 1923. And these thoughts and claims go way back. So this is relatively recently then. So here's something that comes from the president of Redemptorist College, which is a Roman Catholic college in Kansas City, Missouri. This is in 1884, and he says, "Prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Catholic Church alone. The Catholic Church says, By my divine power, I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week. And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church. Holy. And the name of this gentleman is Thomas Enright, President, Redemptorist College, Kansas City, Missouri, February 18, 1884. Protestants do not realize that by observing Sunday, they accept the authority of the spokesperson of the church, which is the Pope. Antichrist. The papacy is the Antichrist. Thinks to change times and laws. Says that they're above God. These are the declaratory statements in the Bible that point to who the Antichrist is. It's not Barack Obama. It's not even Hillary Clinton or George Bush or Donald Trump or any of those people. All of those people have serious problems, but that's not my job to sort that out. So I just wanted to share these few things with you. So read those texts. Read the Bible. Talk to Jesus. He's coming back soon. I want you all to be saved. This isn't a personal attack. This is facts from the Bible, God's word that He gave to us. He asks us, He gave us everything. He asks us to study His word and spend time with Him. Shouldn't we want to do that? He's our Creator. He gave us everything. He gave us His only Son. And He came down here and let people tack Him up on a tree. And He's going to come back to get us and to save us and take us to heaven. I want you to be there. God bless. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.